and welcome to the DefSec 2023 podcast, sponsored by our good friend Cisco. I'm Alan Dale. It's my good buddy Jerry Carew. We are Gale Force Winds, and I want to tell you, day one is behind us. A lot of great business was done. Day two, we're in the middle of it right now. A lot of activity happening in the room. I tell you, there's one thing that's really popping off the page. Everybody's talking about mission modularity. How do we provide capabilities across platforms, interoperability across navies, across government agencies? Well, it can be done in a couple of ways, and one of those ways is through containerization of missions, and there's no better guy to speak about it than SH Defence and Jens. So Jens, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about SH Defence?
So Jens Flarup, so work for SH Defence, a Danish-based company, part of SH Group, so about 50 years old group with an offspring into defence about 4 years ago. So the mission modularity is in Denmark we actually call it 2.0 because we've had mission modularity in the Danish Navy since 1987. We've lived when it was a part of the structure of the ship. We've lifted that modularity to become a non-structural part of the ship, and are trying to achieve that ships can actually go into different missions with different payloads without having to get back to harbor, so optimizing crew resources, optimizing availability of the ship, but also modernizing platforms so you don't have the long period it takes to build a ship. You can now buy your capability on board the ship at a later stage, and then you literally, when you put the ship in water, get a much modern platform.
Kind of future-proofing your ship, right? As the missions change and the equipment that you need, you can buy that later as long as you provide that slot, that opening, that ability in the ship to take it. SH Defence, no stranger to doing work in Canada. In fact, you're part of Team Vigilance now, one of the key partners in that, but you've also had great success already working with Kraken Robotics, and the first SH Defence product will be here in not so many months.
That is fully correct, yes. So we've, together with Kraken as the prime, won the contract for the Canadian Navy remote mine disposal system that initially would go on board the Kingston, but the system is built to go on Kingston, AOPS, any vessel of opportunity, even shore-based operations. So the procurement the Canadian Navy do now to life extend the Kingston more or less actually provides a capability across the fleet, not only for the Navy, it could go on a Coast Guard ship, it could go on a civilian ship, because it's not only mine dispersal, but can be used for research, seabed warfare, search missions, ship that sinks, anything. So the system is actually capable of doing a lot more than it was originally procured for.
That's that kind of multi-use technology that's so vitally important right now, right? You just hit the nail on the head. That containerized solution can be used for hydrographic work alongside mine clearance work, alongside search and rescue work. Unbelievable. And when you think about that, in Canada alone, not all of those things fall under one department, so you're going to have to move that equipment between platforms to get it done.
Exactly, and the Cube system as it's built, we talk a lot about modularity on board the ship, but it's actually all about bringing the capability to the ship, on board the ship, putting it in a place on the ship so it's usable, so it's not just a very expensive ferry, so you don't chuck it somewhere and you can't use the operational capability, but also the life cycle, getting logistics in place, training in place, actually be able to use the capability as well, so when a ship goes into dock, you can lift those things off the ship, use it on another platform, and in that way optimizing your spending towards the Navy, and be smart thinking on what you actually bring and how you use your capabilities.
And taking it even one step further, that interoperability between navies. So here we are, we're Canadians talking to a guy from Denmark. We share a space together, the Arctic. We go on missions together, and we often stop in Nuuk, Greenland, and we can easily transfer our equipment back and forth between one another and share our expertise and our capabilities.
You're fully correct, because the Danish and Canadian attitude, there's actually one more country in that play, that's actually Norway. We have a similar approach to what happens in, let's go for the Arctic. So the capability brought across for the Canadian Navy might as well go on a Danish Navy ship in support of the joint operations in the Arctic and the northern part of the hemisphere. So why stop on your own platforms? Why not utilize their capability across NATO members?
You know, one of the things that kind of blew off the page yesterday as well was Team Vigilance, right? This great conglomeration coming together with real big players providing a platform, an opportunity for the Canadian government to look at another style of vessel. But they came to SH Defence and said, we need your modularity. How does that make you feel? Like,
I have to be proud, of course. So yeah, SH Defence is a part of the 5 companies that offered this unsolicited proposal to replace the Kingston ship within Team Vigilance. It actually makes quite a bit, because that is a ship that is developed and designed around modularity, so it suits quite a bit of missions. It's outside the national shipbuilding strategy, but it also opens doors for other companies. It opens doors for a company like me, because we provide the modularity. We don't actually provide the payload. So what we're doing now is we're trying to do this interaction not only between the group but with other companies to fill Canadian OEMs, actually open a door for Canadian OEMs to get their system on board a platform that doesn't restrict them to 6 ships, but it can be used in other places as well.
You know, Jens, you're here in Canada, you're here an awful lot, you've got a great presence here. Some of the agencies that you're interested in, of course the Navy are already doing business. Coast Guard, a lens on the Coast Guard as well?
Well, yeah, of course the Navy, and we already won that contract, so working with the Coast Guard on actually platforms that are coming into play now, but of course also trying to take our modularity and put that towards the MPV and PIB programs and see if we can achieve that understanding of modularity for the future and shape work together with the Coast Guard. So of course as a company we would try that.
Yeah, it sounds like, you know, when people are talking in the boardrooms, in the leadership conversations around modularity, it would behoove them to reach out to SH Defence and kind of take some of your lessons learned and your approach as they develop the ships and the platforms of the future.
That is very important, because you can only do so much. We talk about Kingston, you can only do so much with an existing platform. It is crucial that designers and requirement managers look into modularity for the future and actually think that into the platform. Because there are a couple of things we all try to achieve. I said before, it's lean manning, it's ship availability, and it's cost effectiveness. And you need to build modularity into that to actually achieve the common goals of everyone.
How many mission packages would you have now roughly available?
We've probably got around 300 mission packages available with different suppliers. So one of the things we do is we set up agreements with sub-suppliers for the mission packages, and we try to support each other. So we try to sell stuff for customers, and they try to sell our solution as a part of their thing. So we try to let this becoming a growing idea within the market.
Yeah. You know, Tim Hortons is just back now with their hockey card collection, Jens. Sounds like you guys got quite a collection of cards already.
We have quite a collection, that is correct. Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for bringing modularity to Canada, and thanks for your leadership in this area.
Thank you.